What is this quest? The need to solve life's mysteries when the simplest of questions can never be answered. This is the question posed in the opening of Heroes. Well, hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not, and welcome to the beginning of a review series of the series Heroes. Here's the season 1 slipcover thingy. Apparently I made a custom cover on the inside. I don't know what This is also weird. It may look normal to you, but the slip, it comes on the left side for me. This side. So it's this way instead of this way, you know? So this may be a difficult one to get through because, yes, this would be better suited to go episode by episode. The problem is, I'm already doing 3 other shows that way. Smallville, and Saved by the Bell, and Doctor Who. So I can't just do another one. Although this would be shorter, especially season 2. But I'm going season by season with this one. I may eventually do an episode by episode breakdown if I wish anytime soon. Obviously. Heroes follows the lives of a group of people. Can I speak English today? Heroes follows the lives of a certain amount of people, unconnected, you know, in virtually every way except for one thing. They all have a superpower. Yes. There are basically 5 main characters. There's Peter Petrelli, Hiro Nakamura, Claire Bennett, Isaac Mendez, and Matt Parkman. Those are the basic 5 that we follow that have the powers. And there's others like Mohinder Suresh, who is our narrator and is the son of a scientist who believed that there was a formula to finding people with special abilities. So he goes, after his father's death, he goes from India to New York to try to finish his father's research, which leads him to finding people like the ones that I mentioned. Wait, there's actually 6. So maybe Parkman wasn't originally one of them, but he is. There's actually 6. Nikki Saunders. I'll go through each of them and detail the powers. We'll start with my favorite character, Hiro Nakamura. Hiro is an office worker from Japan who finds out he has the ability to teleport and travel through time and stop time. Pretty cool. Of course, he has problems controlling it because we can't just have everyone seamlessly control their powers or they'd be OP right away. But, yeah, he finds out that his destiny, he believes his destiny is bigger than just sitting in an office, which his friend Ando says, no, you can't, do that. The biggest problem, though, with their story is that they primarily speak Japanese, so you have to, really pay attention to the screen and read. Although, if you've seen it as many times as I have, you pretty much know what's going on, so even though I'm doing something and all I only hear Japanese, I kind of already know what's going on. You know what I mean? And we have Nikki Saunders, a single mother from Las Vegas, raising her son Micah, played by that little kid from My Wife and Kids that played the piano. Franklin. He was Franklin? Yeah. Her ability is technically super strength, but it manifests itself through an alternate identity, as known as Jessica, which is based off of her dead sister. And her story gets more complicated than, as we go along, but yeah. And she's just trying to pay trying to, pay the bills and keep raising her son right and keep her son in this esteemed private school, while public school would have been a lot easier for her, but she doesn't want that. And also there is her husband, D.L. Hawkins, played by Leonard Roberts. I should be mentioning the actors too, I guess I should say. So, we started with Hiro Nakamura. He's played by Masaoka Ando, played by James Kyson Lee, who is Korean, but that's fine. Not Japanese. I mentioned Mohinder Suresh, played by Senthil Ramamurthy, and Ali Larder plays Nikki/Jessica. Yeah, and that little kid, his name is Micah. I can't remember his. Noah Gray Kebe. I don't know how to pronounce it. And we later, so we find out that DL has the ability to walk through walls. Which, how was he in jail for so long? He's biding his time, I guess. And then Micah has the ability to control machines, which comes in handy. And when you're writing a series, you figure out what powers you want to put in there and how it all connects. And each power kind of connects in a way, especially with some of the ones later. There's Matt Parkman, who wasn't in the original pilot but was added afterwards. He's a police officer from California, I think it is, Los Angeles, who has the ability to read minds, which includes him finding out his wife was having an affair with one of his colleagues, fellow police officers, detective. It was actually Rickman from Smallville, that Hog episode that touched, yeah, him. I was like, hey, that's Rickman. I recognize him. And he does find out that his wife is pregnant by the end of it. Also caught on early on when he's talking to his wife, I'm just like, what's something off with her voice here? She's Australian and she's trying to keep her American accent. It's not working. But yeah, and he works with a detective played by, I should mention, Matt Parkman's played by Greg Grunberg, a J.J. Abrams regular. He was on Alias and will go on to be in the Star Wars movies that he did. So, and he was also the pilot on Lost. In the pilot. Yeah. But here he's an officer. Parkman. He does save a little girl who becomes important later. Her name is Molly. Molly Walker. I don't want to say it like that, but yeah. He works with this detective named Clea Duvall, played by Clea Duvall, excuse me. They're trying to track down this serial killer called Sylar, who is also important. He's going around killing people. We find out it's all people with special abilities. He's cutting off their heads and doing something to them. You get more on him later. Then there is Claire Bennett from Texas. And, yeah, at the beginning of this, I think they tried to have her do a Texas accent, a southern accent, but that is dropped pretty quick. Yeah. She and her friend Zach, who is implied to be gay, played by Thomas Dekker, who is also gay, but Hayden Panettiere, I think I don't want to mention that, plays Claire. Claire has the ability to heal from anything. It's the trailer you all saw where she's standing on top of the thing and she falls and then she puts her arm back in position and says, "This is Claire Bennett and this was attempt number 5 or whatever it is." Yeah, she heals, which would also become very important. Right, and she's going through this because secretly there is throughout all this there is this guy with the strange guy with these glasses following everyone who has these abilities. It's revealed to be Claire's adoptive father, Mr. Bennett, whose first name we don't know until the finale, as Noah. There is one joke where the mom's like, where Sylar shows up to talk to her in the guise of someone that works with him at the paper factory, and she's like, "Oh, it's so weird you call him Mr. Bennett. I've always known him as," and then something happens where she's taken away from the conversation. Yeah, and her trying to keep her secret. Early on in the series, she has Zach at her side, And then a strange turning point happens where it's revealed that the company her dad works for, they have other people with abilities. One being the Haitian, or as we later known to be known as Rene, who has the ability to, he can stop people's powers from working when he's around, and also he can erase people's memories. So he's kind of like that kid from X-Men that can kind of stop people's powers, but then he also erases people's memories. And he's done it so many times to Bennett's wife that she starts to lose like all sense of sanity, and her memory goes so much, and then it's just dropped. Like there's a whole bit, like a couple episodes where she's got this, like she's going in and out, and she doesn't remember her own dog or her own daughter, and then all of a sudden, right, she's got it back, and then it never happens again. And then there is our main character, our protagonist, Peter Potrelli, played by Milo Ventimiglia. Milo Ventimiglia. You know how long it took for me to figure out how to pronounce that name? Milo Ventimiglia. He believes, much like Hiro, believes that there is a greater purpose for him. He keeps having these dreams, which are explained eventually. He keeps having these dreams of himself flying. Oh, there was one more, but I'll get to him. Forgot about Mr. Isaac. There are these, he has these dreams where he is flying, and it's the whole thing at the beginning when you have the narration. He's standing there like this on a building. Is he going to fly? Kind of. It's revealed that his brother, Nathan Petrelli, a politician running for Congress, is the one who can fly. Months earlier, there is a car accident that he and his wife were involved in, where he was found a good distance away from the car, but his wife was unfortunately paralyzed. She's still alive, but she's paralyzed. And this revelation of him being able to fly comes at the end, or the end of episode 1 or the beginning of episode 1, one of the two, where he flies up to help him. It looks kind of janky here, but it's even more janky when they use the CGI to do it. Like in the last episode, he flies in and lands, and it's kind of 2006 CGI, not so good. There's also a connection to an Isaac Mendez, who has the ability to paint the future. Now, he doesn't last past this season, but early on, it is shown that he can only do it when he's high on heroin. But then later he gets cured thanks to the company, but then uses it again to draw more paintings. Like he draws this mural of the entire New York City exploding, which becomes a big plot point in this season. And like almost everything that happens comes true, except for the picture showing Nathan as President of the United States. Now, I know technically if you've seen the series, wait, there was the episode where Hiro went to the future. Yes, but if you also talking about episode, you also know that's not Nathan who's president. Technically, you should be painting Sylar as president, but I don't know. Also, isn't it weird that he can paint things past, like prophets? They're usually not able to see past their expiration date. Like if they're gonna die, they can't see past that, right? Only up to that. And if Nathan is supposed to become president, that's 5 years into the future that he's president by then. So, which he's already president, not just elected, but anyway. Yeah. Eventually, there's a connection between Isaac and Peter because Isaac is dating Simone DeVoe, who is the daughter of. See, Peter is a hospice nurse. Which means you take care of people who are going to die. Her father, Charles DeVoe, played by Shaft himself, Richard Roundtree. Just a cool name, Richard Roundtree. He's taking care of him, and he meets Simone. There's the thing between them is a love triangle, is what it is. Simone becomes pretty inconsequential because about 3/4 through the season, they realize, we don't need her anymore. And she just gets shot. When Peter and Isaac are arguing because Bennett gave Isaac a gun, and they start to argue, and Peter is able to go invisible at this point. I haven't told you what Peter's powers are. I'll tell you in a minute. And he hears the door open and shoots, and it's Simone. Peter's powers are probably the most OP, which is probably why they dumbed them down in future seasons. He's an empath, which means he can take any power that someone has. He had, like I said, invisibility, Isaac's painting powers, flying, dreams, which we don't reveal who has them yet, but dreams, and then others. He eventually takes Claire's healing, but we'll get to that. So on one very important subway ride, after they go to visit Isaac, Peter and Mohinder are taken there, or are on the ride when time freezes, and a future hero Nakamura with a ponytail and a soap patch and can speak perfect English. Yeah, that's one of the plot points, is that hero can't speak perfect English, but he does learn eventually. But future hero comes and tells Peter Petrelli the tagline of the entire first season: save the cheerleader, save the world. But doesn't tell him anything else, not where he's supposed to go. All he says is you have to go back to Isaac Mendez's loft to find out where to go. My man, you're from the future. Like, there is so much that they could have done, right? Save the cheerleader, save the world. Why doesn't he go and save the cheerleader? He knows where she's going to be. Why didn't he show up and do it? Why does Peter have to do it? It's also convoluted to get this show going the way it is. Eventually, the cheerleader is revealed to be Claire. And even though Bennett also figures this out, that Siler's coming after. So Siler, like I said, he's a serial killer. He's played by Zachary Quinto. And he is one of, if not the greatest TV villain I've ever seen. It's revealed that he knew Mohinder's father, Chandra Suresh, played by Eric Avari from The Mummy and Stargate. And he was working with his father until he ended up killing his father because he caught on to him. See, Gabriel's power is probably the most, I wouldn't say confusing, but the most, difficult, complicated, most complicated. His power is similar to Peter's, but it's more of another way around doing that. Like, he can absorb powers, but his is finding how things work, and then he uses that to advantage. That's why he cuts off people's heads, which is weird because he cuts it clean off, but the brain is still right there. He would cut the whole thing anyway. Goes in the brain, find out how they work, and of course that part's not really revealed till season 2. They think season 3. They think he eats brains. Season 2 is very short because there was a writer's strike that year. So, yeah. Also impacted Supernatural, as I remember. But so he takes a whole bunch of powers. One of the first ones that he takes. So this is how things work. Is they would have found out that Chandra's watch is like 0.3 of a second too slow or something like that. I don't know. And then he says other guys' powers. They can the telepathis power. And that becomes his primary power, really, even though it's not his real power, but this primary power. Later, he convinces Mohinder that he's Zane Taylor. Zane Taylor has the power to melt things, which Phoebe's brother from Friends would not. I like to melt things. That'd be his power. Melt. To melt things. Giovanni Ribisi. But yes, eventually, like this whole big Save Cheerleader Save the World, it's in the middle of the season. It's like episode 8 or something. Hold on. It's Homecoming is the episode. It's the Homecoming dance, you see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Episode 9. And what is confusing about this is that Hiro and Ando are on their way there. They're in Texas at the time. They communicate with Peter, who gets to Texas pretty fast. Does he fly? I don't know. He doesn't have... I don't know. He doesn't really know how to use his powers that well at this point. But you know what? You have to save the cheerleader. So, early on, Claire saves some people in a fire. And Jackie, a fellow cheerleader, takes the blame for it. Because she wants attention. So when Siler shows up, he goes after Jackie. And Peter is also trying to protect Jackie. Jackie's killed, but he realizes it's not her, and it's actually Claire. Peter does save Claire, but there's some confusion. See. So he tackles him off a roof. And Peter survives because of Claire's healing abilities. But how does Siler survive? He is wounded, and he's walking off, and he's taken in by the company. Held hostage till he eventually escapes. They didn't have anything for him to do for a couple episodes, apparently. And he escapes. Eventually, Bennett also turns against the company because, well, things happen that reveals that Claire has powers. So they're like, oh, you have to bring her in, because that's the whole thing. It's also revealed that Claire is Nathan's daughter from an affair he had before he even got married. Which makes Peter her uncle, which is kind of weird, but yeah. I also feel that it's kind of slow after you get that episode where everything happens, save each other, save the world, and then it's just very slow with Peter and all the characters next episode. It's kind of, I know it's just. Yeah. So, Parkman finds Ted Sprague, this guy who has the power, nuclear power. They tracked him down earlier thinking he was Siler, but Matt reconnects with him, and they decide to go to Bennett's house to confront him. This is where everything goes south. The mom and the brother find out that Claire has powers, even though Lyle did find out, the brother did find out, but then his memory was erased. And that's another thing, is that at one point, the Haitian shows up and erases everyone but Claire's memories. Right? And that takes her best friend away. Well, Zach's not really important. I always thought he died, but he doesn't. He's still alive. He's just left behind, I guess. Yeah. There's also a girl who could change her. I forget her name, but she's played by Misty Peregrine. She's in the movie Stick It. And she was like a main love interest on Reaper, which is a CW show, which is actually pretty good. Yeah, she can change shape. And it all starts to come together towards the second half of the season. Because it's revealed that Peter and Nathan's mom is also involved with this company that is controlled by this guy, Lindemann, who has been mentioned, and is eventually revealed to be Malcolm McDowell. There's also Agent Thompson, first shown in a flashback episode played by Eric Roberts, who hired Bennett. Okay, so Peter eventually finds this invisible man named Claude. He calls himself Claude Rains. Do you get it? He's played by Christopher Eccleston. You know, the Ninth Doctor. And he's basically, this is after he left Doctor Who, so he's, yeah, it's about the next year, so. I also thought he died, but he doesn't. He's still around, and he never comes back either. And they could use him for some of this. I guess Peter has that power. I don't know. But he basically tries to teach Peter how to control it. He tells Peter you have to get rid of the people in their lives, but Peter realizes, no, I have to think of them. That's how I can use their powers. It helps him. And then Bennett shows up and he's like, I'm done. I'm out of here. And he leaves. You never see him again. Because he used to be Bennett's partner back in the day, you see. See, there are 2 episodes in this season, a flashback one and a flash forward one. Both instigated by Hiro accidentally time traveling. When they get to Texas, Hiro and I get to Texas, he meets a girl named Charlie, played by Jang Mays, who ends up dying at the hands of Sylar. So he tries to travel back to stop Sylar from killing her. He ends up traveling 5 months into the past, before the season started. It is confusing because, like, it's revealed that there's a picture of Hiro on her birthday there. So it's revealed that they already knew each other, but nobody recognized him when they came in. It's a weird time travel thing. It's confusing. The second time he travels, he goes to the future. It's after they get the sword, and they have to get out of there, so they teleport and they end up 5 years in the future, where Nathan is a corrupt politician, revealed later to be Sylar, having killed Nathan off screen, I guess. It's like a martial law where all the special people are hunted down and everything. Hiro, Peter, and Nikki are basically like the Resistance of sorts, with Parkman working with the Haitian on the bad side, under the guys that he's harboring someone with powers, which I believe is Molly, and then as you mentioned it, and then Claire is revealed to still be alive because Peter saved her. Yeah. This means in this timeline. So, this reminds me of Trunks' timeline from Dragon Ball Z. You may change things, but it doesn't change there. It's implied that she was supposed to live the entire time. Like, even because later in season 3, something happens where Sylar does catch up to her and take her powers, but she survives. She heals. So maybe that's what happened there, and then Bennett kept her hidden. The only difference is in the reality that actually happened for us, for Hiro in his time, is that Peter stopped him from doing that, and now he can't heal like he should be able to. And they play it off as, well, I wasn't the one who exploded. They say Sylar's supposed to be the one that exploded. Peter has dreams of himself exploded. They think it might be Ted. But then Sylar kills Ted. At this point, it must be Sylar. And then Sylar has this conversation with Peter. We both know that it wasn't me, was it? And Peter's got this scar on his face, which never happens. And again, I have to think that maybe the future, because season 3 starts with a future scene that, I don't know, it's confusing. But, yeah. So after we have this episode, Hiro and Anda go back, and they try to confront Sylar. It doesn't work. And then Hiro takes Anda back to Japan so that he can finish his quest. He leaves the sword that he's supposed to use, shown in Isaac's comic, to him, so that they're supposed to kill Sylar with. He leaves it with Ando and uses the other one. And also, Isaac does die, as foretold. And I like how they use different styles for each person. They could very easily just have it all be the same kind of painting and say, oh, well, that's just what the powers do. They make you paint the same way. But they don't do that. Isaac paints a certain way. Siler paints a certain way. Uh, Peter paints a certain way. It's all different, you know? It's all different. Eventually, they converge in New York because Linderman has Micah basically kidnapped to use his powers to help Nathan win the election. Which does happen, I believe it. Yeah, celebrating thing. Linderman also restores Nathan's wife's walking abilities. He's a healer. He can heal. Yeah. Maybe not himself, because he gets put back of the head by DL. And at a certain point in the season, there's a lot to talk about. I'm sorry. Nikki gets taken over by Jessica. And Jessica starts being a hit woman for Linderman. But eventually, she... during this fight, Nikki gets control back and saves Micah. And DL is bleeding out because he was shot by Linderman. He stepped in a way. He could have had it. He could have, but it would have just went through his shot. He steps in so that Nikki didn't get shot. But she's like, why didn't you just let it phase through you? And he doesn't give a reason. I'm just like, well, he did that, it would have shot you. So, yeah. And Bennett gets arrested by the company, right? Put in a cage. But he, Parkman, and Ted escape. And eventually, like I said, Ted dies. But Bennett and Parkman... Well, Ted gets captured by the police because Siler calls it in. And then Siler crashes the car. It looks like it's practical when it does this. Crashes the armored car that he's in. Kills him, takes his powers. So now we have to believe, is it him? Is it Peter? We've been shown several times it's supposed to be Peter. The people from the company are saying it's gonna be Peter. Yeah, they keep making us wonder who's it gonna be, who's it gonna be, who's it gonna be. I mean, the dialogue from the future episode tells us it's gonna be Peter, but you know. I do like, and this is going back, Hero gets stuck in Las Vegas. By the way, there is so much about Hero and Endo's Las Vegas that pisses me off. Because they get there, and they're trying to find someone specifically. Trying to, because they go to Las Vegas in a comic book. Then they end up gambling because Endo wants to make money. Right? Which angers these gamblers. And eventually these gamblers go after them. But they get taken out of the city and are at this diner when they find Nathan, who has escaped from Bennett and the Haitian. Which, by the way, he shouldn't have been able to do. Bennett and the Haitian have him cornered at this fence, and Nathan flies away. And I went, wait, he shouldn't be able to do that, because the Haitian's right there. That was a mistake. That was a writing mistake. It's like, or maybe they did that as sort of a Ex Machina type thing. We were like, well, you need him to fly, but the Haitians there won't be able to use that power. Now who cares? Just let him fly. Yeah, and so then from now on, Hero refers to him as Flying Man. Flying Man, I see you. Flying Man. Vote Pateli! Vote Nathan Pateli! And I think really it is Hero that helps. I mean, it's more Claire at the end. Because, of course, Claire is revealed to be his daughter. But, like I said, she also goes from being captured to not being captured. Being captured, not being captured. But she's with them. So how did this happen? So Bennett fakes being attacked by Renee, the Haitian, and she gets away, and the Haitian's going to take her to Angela Petrelli. And so she takes Renee's boarding pass and leaves. But ends up with them anyway. And Her throat's dry. Sorry. So she ends up in New York anyway. So she takes off with Peter to try to save the city, I guess. And this is where she's reunited with her dad, who is with Ted Sprague and Parkman, which confuses her. Then Parkman is arrested, like I said. Or not Parkman. Ted is arrested. He's killed, and then Parkman and Bennett go to destroy this new security system called the Walker system. Turns out to be the little girl that Matt saved at the beginning of the series, named Molly Walker. So they can't kill her. So they're gonna use her to find. They use her to find Siler. Use her to find Peter, and we have this big showdown where everybody converges because Nikki saves Micah, and Mohinder and Molly show up and find DL. They all get in the elevator because Micah can make it work. Go down. They're all there. Peter and Noah are there. And at this point, Claire has once again been captured by Angela and Nathan, but she jumps out a window and escapes because she can do that. And so now we're on this final battle, right? And am I the only one that thinks this could have been over easily? It's why DL got shot. Is why this isn't over easily. Because as we find out, DL can just face through your head and kill you. So with DL shot and unable to do anything, you have Nikki, who now has her super strength without being Jessica. At least at this point. They're able to swing a telephone or a meter, a parking meter at him. And then Peter's like, go back to your family. I'm like, wait, no, you could use her help. You could use her help. But no, she goes back, and it's just like, no, it's on Peter. They fight, and then Peter starts to, because whenever he's around, he can't really control it. He starts to freak out with Ted's powers again, which he thinks he's going to explode. Hero shows up and stabs Siler right through, and he falls. And then Peter says, Hero, you have to kill me. You have to kill me. How does that work? Cut off his head, maybe? I guess that would work. Cut off his head. The only way you can kill an immoral person, right? Kill off his head. Cut off his head. Excuse me, not kill off his head. Cut off his head. Or, I guess they established a certain place in the back of the head. You can stab someone to do that. So just do that. Stab him to do that. But Siler, still clinging to life, flings him, and Hero has to teleport out of there to save himself. So Peter's about to explode, and so it's up to Claire to shoot him, and she's gonna shoot him right in the face. She's like this, and it's like, do you know it's back there? Why are you doing? She can't bring herself to do it. Then Nathan flies in with some bad CGI, and mimics a dream he had. So I'm very confused about this dream. Towards the beginning of the series, like episode 3 or 4 or something, Peter has this dream, and everybody that's involved, Nikki and Micah, Parkman, they're there, including Simone and Isaac. But at this point, we already know Isaac is going to die because we saw Hero teleports himself to the future in the second episode. End of the first episode, beginning of the second episode, he's in the future. He sees Isaac's dead body in the loft. He sees the explosion about to happen. Which, by the way, that now changes. Unless that is the future that is supposed to happen, the future Hero comes from. I don't know. But, yeah, so we already know that Isaac's going to die at this point. So why is he there when Peter's about to explode? And I already knew that Simone was going to die, and then she does. And okay, well, they didn't have that down there yet, though. But they already had Isaac being dead. But Peter didn't know that, I guess. I don't know. So, but this mimics a dream when Nathan goes up to him and goes, "This is all for a greater purpose, Pete." And so he saves him. He flies off into the sky, and I went, "Wait, you're standing right there. Can't Peter just fly himself?" Maybe he can't use one power at once. I don't know. Same time, I don't know. But yeah, big explosion. Everybody's dead, and then not everybody's dead, but they're dead. So, for all you know, they're both dead. Okay? And Parkman was shot with 3 bullets. I think Claire tried to shoot him, or someone tried to shoot him. Claire or someone, and I think Bennett. Bennett tried to shoot him, and he flung the bullets at Parkman. And so he's taken in. Molly says, "Please don't die to Officer Parkman." And yeah, and then we get end of volume 1 with a blood trail leading to a sewer, insinuating that Sylar is still alive. End of volume 1 from the sewer cap with a bug crawling on it. And then we see Feudal Japan, 1671, and it says volume 2, Generations. So I'm going to be calling each of these by the volumes. So this will be Heroes, volume 1, Genesis review. Because I'm going to split season 3 is going to be split in half. And I'll do villains, because there were 2. It's going to be easier for me to do. They did 2 volumes in season 3. Villains and fugitives. So we'll do villains and we'll do fugitives. I like villains more than I did fugitives. We'll see how it works this time around, but fugitives kind of got me frustrated. But yeah. And so we're in feudal Japan. Hiro lands in a field and looks up to find some Japanese shoguns in front of him. Samurai, yeah. Until they look surprised, and he looks over to find Takeso Kensei, his hero. The hero samurai he talks about. It's the sword. It's his sword, the sword of Kensei, that he was supposed to use to kill Sylar. Also, I want to know why Sylar... See, why is Sylar so strong, though? He survives falling off a building. He survives getting stabbed. At one point, was it Mohinder or Bennett holds a gun to his head, and he says, "You know that won't kill me." Why won't it? You don't have healing powers. I did a Sylar voice. You know that won't kill me. Right? Also, it's probably early on in this season, I don't think it's anymore, but at some point he has a devil voice that comes out when he gets angry. I don't know how he does that, but yeah, so we end with Hiro in 1671 Japan, and there was another eclipse which started this whole season, so stuff's about to happen. Yes. And there's a chance I'll finish season 1 today. It's only 11 episodes. Season 2 today. It's only 11 episodes. But if anything, then the review will be tomorrow. But it's a short season. I got some other stuff to do, so who knows if I'll finish it. But yeah. So what are your thoughts on season 1 or volume 1? I'm calling it volume 1. Or no, wait. Fuck. I just realized I downloaded pictures for just each seasons. You know what? I can fix that with writing on the thumbnails. And I guess season 3 will have the same thumbnail but with different writing. I'll just have to copy it. You know what I'm saying? So, what are your thoughts on this season? Let me comment so much, like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.